Hey, what's going on, YouTube family? It's Mace back with another video. So today we're going to look at Todd McShay's top 10 big board. I call it the way too early because we already know it's going to change a million times between now and April when the draft starts. About a month ago, I did Mel Kiper Jr., who's like the godfather of mock drafts and prospecting, scouting, and Todd McShay's like his confidant. You know, that's his understudy. When Mel Kiper hangs it up, which he probably won't do until he's 93 years old, Todd McShay is going to be that main guru guy. And I like Todd McShay as well. So we're going to take a look at what he has to say, his top 10. Sometimes they agree, him and Mel Kiper. Sometimes they disagree on certain players and whatnot, but they're both filled with knowledge. And I actually use both of their big boards as a key point of reference for myself when I'm evaluating college prospects. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, and the number 10 ranked player for Todd McShay going into the 2023 draft is Myles Murphy, who's a defensive end. Junior out of Clemson. Hey, what can I say? Another year, another top-end edge rusher for Clemson. Now, for the season, at the time of this recording, 14 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, has great, I love his size, 6'5", 275. And the reason why is just the overall versatility that allows, especially in today's defense and schematics. Versatility is ultimately king. So he can play off the edge. You can bring him and let him play inside as well. His size-adjusted speed is off the charts. He can play the run. He can play the pass. Made an impact on a Power 5 powerhouse like Clemson as a true freshman, which when I evaluate players, that's definitely one of the things I look at is how early you played. And he's a 3-year starter, so definitely I like number 10. At number 9, we have tight end Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame Jr. On my videos, if you've watched my videos in the past, I've made a few videos where he's featured in it. The number one, by far, the consensus number 1 tight end, 6'4", 255, 265, just depending on what source you're looking at. 67 catches, 809 yards, 9 scores. The number 1 featured weapon for Notre Dame last year. Really, sophomore year as well. Nickname is Baby Grunk for a reason. Michael Mayer is so talented. He would have been the number 1 drafted tight end last year in 2022. But he's a good athlete, controls his body very well. You think he was a receiver when the ball's in the air, when he goes up to get it, can run after the catch. Maybe doesn't have the most elite athleticism like a Kyle Pitts, but I don't really care about that in a tight end, honestly. A willing blocker. He's going to be really good to come, obviously. At number 8 for Todd McShay, Bijan Robinson, running back out of Texas. Junior year, 6 foot, 222 pounds, 220, 225. We'll see officially at the combine, but I mean, what can I say? I've talked about Bijan Robinson, obviously, as well. A multitude of times. 1,580 rushing yards, 18 scores, added another 19 catches and 314 yards in the air. I mean, size, athleticism, his hands are good. What can I say? He's going to be a workhorse at the next level. If you play Dynasty, he's going to be the consensus 1-1 99% of the time, unless you're tripping, I guess. He has vision, cutback is one of his best suits. He's just really good at finding that cutback lane and then has the acceleration, power, and burst to break into that second level. Contact, balance, people bounce right off of him and he still barely breaks momentum when that happens. He's a rare prospect for the running back position. For me, he's the best running back since 2018 with Saquon Barkley. He's going to be a first-round pick, which is very rare for a running back in today's day anyways. And at number 7, we have Jordan Addison, junior receiver out of USC. 6 foot, 175 pounds, 51 catches, 765 yards, 8 touchdowns. Really good receiver, obviously. I've talked about him as well many times. Great deep speed, creates separation, short, intermediate, deep routes. He can run everything on the route tree. Something you really want to make sure you're cognizant of when you're evaluating receivers is how skilled are they at route running and what's the multitude of route running, if any. Early breakout at Pitt with Kenny Pickett before transferring this year to USC. His consistency of catching the ball has definitely improved this year. There were concerns about his hands. There still may be over the next few months, but he's definitely been a lot more sure-handed. The lack of concentration drops that he had a lot of at Pittsburgh, definitely going to be a successful receiver at the next level, no doubt. Next up, Todd McShay's number 6 ranked player is Kayshon Boutte, junior receiver out of LSU. Great size, 6 foot 205, 48 catches, 538 yards, 2 scores. Former 5-star recruit and was also an early breakout in the SEC. I really like Kayshon Boutte, and the big reason why is he's one of the receivers in this class that didn't have elite QB production. Even this year with Jaden Daniels, solid quarterback at the college level, but he's not an elite thrower of the ball. You know what I'm saying? So Kayshon Boutte did a lot with a little, in my opinion. You look at his stats, 48 catches, 2 scores. Not off the charts, but when you're projecting him at the next level, I can understand why Kayshon Boutte is ranked so highly for Todd McShay. You know, he's one of the most dangerous receivers with the ball in his hands. If we're being honest, he can take a screen and go 60 yards with it while breaking 2 tackles. He also is really good at tracking the deep ball. I've seen many plays over his LSU career where his ball tracking skills are just really elite and able to come down with the ball. So just having that short and long distance threat, I think will serve very well for him at the next level. You know, he can catch a quick slant, take it a mile. He can also catch a deep post and be dangerous over the top of any defense as well with his speed and his strength. And like I said, the ball tracking skills. So Kayshon Boutte is a beast, and I can see why he's number 6 for Todd McShay. Number 5 ranked player for Todd McShay is the senior outside linebacker from Georgia. That's Nolan Smith, 6'3", 235 pounds. Smith was a former 5-star recruit, actually the number 1 recruit in 2019, according to 24/7 Sports. This year, 3 sacks, 18 tackles for loss. Obviously has the potential. You look at the production, it's not necessarily where you think it would be for a top 5 player in a draft class, but you have to put some context there. University of Georgia. Georgia is extremely deep on defense, and they also rotate a lot. So that calls for a lot of sacrifice for team goals and team success. So what comes of that is not like these generational stat lines that we're used to seeing from a lot of these top prospects year after year. But at his size, 6'3", 235, definitely has room to grow in his overall size at 235. Attacks with really good speed. It wouldn't surprise me if he runs 4.6 or faster at the combine. Has really nice bend, uses good hip mobility. Also is pretty good in zone coverage as well. I look at him more as an edge rusher, maybe like in a 3-4 type of setup. But knowing that he's solid in zone coverage definitely bodes well just for the versatility that a lot of those defensive coordinators are going to look at. All right, at number 4, we have C.J. Stroud, junior quarterback out of Ohio State. We have 37 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions, a former 4-star recruit, true junior, like I've said before, 21 years old. He's a natural leader, one of the most accurate QBs in this class, has the resume, has the statistics. Definitely would love to see him use his legs a little bit more. I think that'll bode well at the next level. Also, if you play fantasy, you're kind of begging for that. And that's because you know he's athletic enough to truly be a dual threat. But he's so dangerous with his arms, even if he decides not to really run the ball, that's perfectly fine as well. Really has very few weaknesses. Of course, every player has their weakness, but C.J. Stroud can zip it anywhere on the field. So whoever drafts him, he's going to be a top 5, top 6 pick at worst. He's going to be the franchise QB for the next 10, 15 years. All right, and we're now on our top 3 prospects for Todd McShay. And at number 3, we have Bryce Young, junior quarterback out of Alabama, listed at 6 foot, 194 pounds. We'll see. Of course, that's always been the biggest question mark around Bryce Young is his size. So we'll see at the combine or the pro day if he decides to get the measurements or not. He could pull a Kyler Murray. But, I mean, on the film, when you watch the tape, I mean, he's a leader. He's respected by coaches and players alike, whether they're down big. His face, he always has that look of confidence that, hey, we can get back into that. Didn't happen too much with Bama being down big, but when there's adversity faced, he always keeps his poise, and his teammates look up to that. But he possesses a very high IQ on the field. You can tell he studies film. He processes pre and post snap the defense and what looks and coverage schematics that they present to him. And he can dice you up and down the field. And I feel at the next level, it'll be no different with the NFL coaching, his drive, his work ethic, his study habits. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I mean, very accurate thrower of the ball. He can throw the deep ball as well, but thrives in short and intermediate passing, but also has the legs to move around that pocket as well, get yards on the run, and that's if the pocket collapses. But Bryce Young, QB1 in this class, according to Todd McShay. I have no disagreement there. Number 2, we have Jalen Carter, junior defensive tackle out of Georgia, listed at 6'3", 310 pounds, just depending on the site that you look at. All in all, he's a physical freak. I've seen plays where he's used a multitude of what we call finesse defensive moves. And then I've seen him just straight up bull rush a guard or a center right into the quarterback. Whether it's a run play, pass play, he wreaks havoc in both. He also has versatility because he's athletic. Combined with that size, you can put him at the 0. You can put him at the 3. You can put him at the edge and tell him, go get the quarterback, go make a play. I expect him, honestly, to hit the 40-yard dash. It wouldn't surprise me if he hit sub 4.9 at 300-plus pounds. He's a heck of a player. He's going to be very productive, I think pretty early in his career as well. You honestly don't see too many interior defensive linemen in the top 5 anymore. Just the positional value has dropped over the years. But Jalen Carter, he's an exception. He is an exception. And number 1, Todd McShay's number 1 ranked prospect on his big board is Will Anderson Jr. No surprise here. This year, 10 sacks, 24 solo tackles, 51 tackles overall. Hands down, last year, 2021, should have won the Heisman. One of the most dominant defensive performances I had personally seen since Ndamukong Suh, way back in 2009, 2010. That's how great his season was last year as a sophomore in college. Junior year, still impactful. I mean, it's hard for anybody to duplicate the type of season he had in 2021. So the stat reduction really isn't any issue at all to me. But Will Anderson Jr. has all the traits you want in an edge runner. Motor, speed, acceleration, drive. He's got the size. At 6'4", 240, honestly, he could get a little bit bigger. He can grow to the frame a little bit, maybe add another 10 pounds over time. But honestly, the game is changing anyways. I do remember a day in the NFL where linebackers were 255, 265, standing there in the middle, ready for that run. And it's a spread offense now, and you need basically, quote-unquote, spread defenses. And even though he's 235, 240, I think that in today's NFL, that's perfectly fine. Plus, you combine his speed and acceleration. It wouldn't surprise me if he ran sub 4.55. He's that explosive. He's a hell of an athlete. And I think that he's going to wreak havoc on plays. And it wouldn't surprise me. It's a big debate who's going to be the first defensive player taken off the board between Will Anderson Jr. and Jalen Carter. But if Will Anderson Jr. is the second pick, third pick in the draft, after Bryce Young going #1 overall, which I project, whatever team gets him is going to have a generational-like player. I think he can reach that level. And there you have it. These are, right now, Todd McShay's top 10. Pretty similar to Mel Kiper's, and honestly across the board, even when I look at my top 10, the ballers are the ballers. There's not going to be too much discrepancy there. Now, when we broaden it out, top 20, top 50, top 100, that's where you see a lot of discrepancy. But I'm definitely looking forward to the 2.0s and the 3.0s and the mock drafts and whatnot. If you're a college fan, NFL fan, this is a fun time because it's the best of both worlds. But with all that being said, if you made it this far in the video, I deeply appreciate it, of course. I appreciate the support. Channel's been around now for a month, and I've gotten plenty of support from you guys, whether it's likes, subscribes, viewership. I appreciate it. But if you haven't already at this point, please go ahead and like and subscribe. This definitely helps the channel grow. That's the mission. We're on the road to 1K. But enough with all that. I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers!